Good afternoon. It gives me great pleasure to be able to make this presentation on designing e-government ecosystems as of women matter. This presentation is based on a research that IT for Change, my organization, undertook for UNPOG and UNESCAP on developing a conceptual framework on gender in e-government. The starting point of the research was that e-government is not a mere addition of technology into public administration systems. Rather, it is a new paradigm of public administration which can be quite game-changing for women. We looked at the three critical constituents of e-government: e-service delivery, citizen uptake, and the connectivity architecture, and focused on the norms, rules, and practices of the e-government ecosystem. One of the things that this research did was to actually look at the barriers and challenges that stand in the way of women's access to connectivity. What is evident is that the market is not automatically bridging the gender-digital divide, contrary to early expectations. In fact, in 48 poorest countries of the world, 90% of the population continue to be unconnected, and a large proportion of this population comprise women. Also, the access divide reflects existing gender divides in education and employment. Another research undertaken by the Women's Rights Online Network found that 97% of female internet users on social media have still not been able to expand their connections online or enhance their social capital online. Only 21% of those connected were able to search for critical information on things like health or legal rights. New forms of rights violations online has proven to be an important policy area that is emergent. However, many countries in the developing world are yet to develop the right policy regimes to be able to address online violence against women. So what does it take to build gender-responsive e-government systems? I'd like to look at two instances which tell us certain important insights. The first is about the Kudumbashree program of the government of Kerala. Kerala is a state in southern India. The Rural Development Ministry of the state government of Kerala has built a very significant program for women, which is called Gurumurthy, and here self-help groups of women come together in different neighborhoods and work closely with local government bodies. Gurumurthy's digital strategies have included gender help desks, which allow women to access online forms and online entitlements through a moderator who is available in each of the local government offices. The program has also been running online discussions which women can participate in even if they are not familiar with digital gadgets and how to operate the online portal, because the help desk will enable them to participate in agenda setting processes in these online discussions. Kerala also became the first Indian state to declare the internet as a basic right this year. This opportunity has been seized by the Kudumbashree program, which has introduced new innovations like a digital newsletter, launched a new mobile app for the women's groups. What this initiative tells us is public interest intermediation can encourage women in the grassroots to uptake or to access e-services. A policy commitment to universalizing public access can go a long way in enabling women to come online. And digital innovation is a moving target, and one has to be really agile to be able to be responsive to women's needs. The second instance is about an experiment called Making Women's Voices and Votes Count. This initiative was supported by the UN Women in certain states in India. The digital strategies of this project included creation of icons that would enable non-literate women to be able to come to a public access point and look for public information. If a woman is an artisan, if she is from the indigenous community that makes handicrafts, or if it's a woman farmer, different icons would take the women to different information bits which will enable them to apply for schemes and entitlements as per their needs. Local language knowledge commons or videos in the local dialect were created so that women would be able to understand what their rights are vis-a-vis local governance. The initiative also put in place voice messaging to reach information to women in the local dialect. Thus, it was able to create a new discourse on gender and local governance. Cutting-edge innovations like GIS-enabled participatory local data collection, which was then tabulated and presented to the local government in order for women to be able to share their requirements on local infrastructure. Things like street lights, water points, all these things were able to be integrated into this initiative. The most important contribution, I think, of this initiative is to show how citizenship literacy and digital literacy can actually go together. Online and offline strategies were combined and local content was created through a very effective local partnership between women's groups and local governance institutions. Based on the research that we have conducted, it's possible now to be able to see how the e-government ecosystem needs certain conditions for it to be responsive to women's empowerment. First is a non-negotiable commitment to gender mainstreaming, effective interministerial coordination, which should preferably be led by the Women's Ministry, citizen charters in respect of digitalized governance and what women can expect out of digitalized governance, a balance between technical and standardized processes on the one side and flexible human mediation on the other. An important aspect which is to create the checks and balances in making partnerships work, including very clear contracts. An effective data governance framework which is supported by legal backing. Frameworks so that institutions not only encourage women to take part and articulate their needs and priorities, but also frameworks that enable institutions to listen, to be accountable. And finally, connectivity that's not just infrastructure, but connectivity that comes bundled with certain incentives, with local content, so that a demand can be generated among women citizens. Based on this research, we have built a policy toolkit for training institutions in the region. This is a public resource that's available on the link, and this contains 5 modules. An introductory module on gender governance and e-government, 3 modules, one each on e-services, e-participation and connectivity, and a 5th module on evaluations, assessments of whether programs for e-government are indeed effective and responsive for women's empowerment. I think it would be useful to adapt and customize these modules through efforts that APEX institutions, training institutions in the different countries of the region can undertake, so that officials and bureaucrats from different ministries, not just Ministry of IT or Ministry of Electronics, but the Ministry of Women, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Commerce and Rural Development, all these ministries which have several programs for women through their e-government initiatives can avail of. The idea is that this toolkit can enable program design to be gender responsive from the get-go, so that gender perspectives are not integrated post facto but become a way by which e-government is designed a priori. Thank you very much.